Mr. Orlando, how you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing amazing.
Hey, man, I'm glad that you could make it in today, brother.
Feel great, feel good.
And thank you for welcoming us into your home. It's looking very nice, looking very homish here, man.
Hey, man, appreciate it.
So today we're here to talk about your book. Can you please tell the audience the title of your book and what your book's about? Just to give us a brief synopsis right quick, because this is an exclusive interview right now.
Exclusive interview. It is called Against All Odds, and it's about my journey and my process of becoming a flight attendant. I had to go through a lot of adversity just to become a flight attendant, so I basically gave people my story.
Mr. Success, I have known you for quite a while now. You gave me the blueprint of the book about 2 years ago. So we're going to jump into some things. But first,
I sent it to you. I sent you some of the rough copies, the unedited versions.
Unedited version. October 6, 2016 to be exact. Never forget what time it came through that email. So, for people to have a better understanding, what is it about you that made you want to write this book? What brought you to this point?
The thing what made me honestly want to do it is because I'm a regular person. And when I say a regular person, average person that's raised with adversity, that's raised, technically in the hood. And to write a book, I haven't seen people that look like me from where I was, from the neighborhood I was from, write too many books. I usually seen people that had college degree, had education, big successful authors. So I'm like, if I can do something like this, somebody that don't have a degree, don't have that type of writing background, that'll motivate a lot of people to do it.
Okay, this book is definitely going to motivate a lot of people. We're going to talk about one chapter in particular that I love from the outline of the book. But when you say it's going to motivate people to do things outside of their norms, what is it that separates you from the pack, the average people? Because a lot of people that didn't go to school. So what was that it factor that helped you write this book?
I love proving people wrong.
Okay.
That I love proving people wrong. Since I've been a kid, when you tell me I couldn't do something, I would love to try to find a way to do it. And with me doing so much self-development and working on myself, I knew average punches that's going to happen in life would take a lot of people out. And I knew I had that advantage where I would be able to keep on going. So that's probably the difference from me versus somebody else.
Okay, so you always wanted to prove people wrong. Now I'm going to go a little bit more deeper. This book took 8 years to write. This book took about 8 years to write.
Show you I'm not a writer at all.
So it took you 8 years. So you wrote little, dabbed here and there. Now, 8 years ago, you were not as successful as you were today. So how did you have the discipline 8 years ago to start putting this memoir together? Because you still a little...
That is an amazing question to have the vision. Because what happened was I was getting denied by so many different airlines.
Okay.
And due to process, I'm like, damn, it's hard to get hired. What I need to do is start writing about a book about how I became a flight attendant before I even get hired. And I wanted to psychologically trick myself where it's like, okay, how stupid would you look writing a book about becoming a flight attendant and you never became one? So that was my secret motivation to make sure at least I get hired, because I already got like 2 chapters in and that was definitely important to my success of doing it.
Okay. That's a great segue right there. We're going to jump into some things in this book. We want to talk to you from the beginning part. Now, your father, may the Lord bless his soul, is no longer with us. But in the beginning chapters of this book, you contribute a lot of success to him by telling you to stay at it. What was the key factors that your father played in your life that contribute to this book keeping steam and you keeping steam rolling along?
I will 100% not be a flight attendant if it wasn't for him.
Why?
Because I moved in with him because he started losing his eyesight. And growing up, we never had that perfect fatherly relationship. And once we moved in together, we seen how similar we was. And once he seen I was actually determined to try to become a flight attendant, he backed me financially. So I didn't have the money. He basically had faith in me. He was like, just pay me back later. So he backed me financially. He gave me the resources such as little things as tape recorders, microphones, going to interviews. He like, man, we need to change your suit. We need to get you a watch. So he helped me in areas. There's no way I would have became a flight attendant without his advice and his guidance.
So make sure the world understands this. Your father was never a flight attendant, correct?
Never.
So therefore, what people help people understand, you don't need to be in that field to help someone else get into that field.
He never been a flight attendant. He just knew a friend that he grew up with that was a flight attendant. And he just, through that his life experience, he just had ideas. He would just say, man, go on that computer thing. So it was my phone. He's like, go on that computer thing. It got to be a secret code or a cheat sheet or something. Figure it out. So he didn't know, but he knew it was ways behind it. And that's how I found a book called The Essential Guide to Becoming a Flight Attendant. So he knew about the book without even knowing about it. He like, it's a book or something that will help you get hired.
Staying with the flight attendant, who was the first flight attendant that you met that actually encouraged you to stay along this path? Even after you had been in the book, you speak about how many times you was turned down, how many job interviews you went on, you was pretty much declined the job. Who was that first flight attendant that says, hey, stay the course?
Well, the first one to help me was a lady named Heather. I think she worked for Continental at the time. She was walking in a coffee shop and she introduced it to me. She like, hey, and I told her how much I love, her being a flight attendant, getting to travel, and I had flight benefits before. And she gave me the information. She gave me her number. She gave me her Facebook. Whenever you need help, go to this website. So she gave me that initial guidance. And the other people that kept me going back and forth was people that I met throughout interviews. Throughout interviews, I met a lot of people that I stayed in contact with. So we would stay having that conversation and keep me up to date. If I got hired, they got hired. So a lot of people I met throughout the journey that kept me inspired.
Okay. Shout out to Heather for that.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to get into a chapter in this book that's very interesting. That's very, very interesting. And most people realize how interesting it is once they receive a copy of the book or they read it on their ebooks. Let's talk about chapter 11. Let's talk about don't be a coward. Let's talk about don't be a coward. Why is that title there at that moment in time in the book? What were the cowardless things that you was going through that made you put that chapter in the book?
I believe around that time, I just got released from airline training. And it was such pivotal moment in my life where it was the lowest moment I've ever been in so far, where I told everybody I'd be a flight attendant and all my dreams and goals basically crashed down. And it was a make or break moment. It's either I could have went in my shell, I could have went back to the airport, I could have started being a bartender, I could have started doing something else. But it was like, don't be a coward. You got to dig deep. You got to figure out what you need to do to get hired and get back on your feet. And that's what inspired me for that chapter.
Okay, for that chapter, where were you at mentally? How old were you when you hit that lowest point at that moment in time when you was released? Where was you at mentally?
I was probably 23. Mentally, I was depressed because I never knew about depression or anything. I was at the lowest point. Like I stayed, and when people read it, they see I stayed in the basement for weeks, didn't really leave. My brother and sister had to just pop up over at the house like, man, you've been too sad. And mentally, I was down because you have expectations up on yourself and what others had. And with those type of expectations, I feel I let people down, I let myself down, and I didn't know how to recover because I kept on trying to be a flight attendant for so long. When I finally got it, deeming you to get released, I knew I had to have an extra drive to be able to keep on going through it again, to get back hired and go through a training again.
Okay, because you went to that chapter about don't be a coward, and there's parts in there where you can, when readers read it, they would see that you was in a stage of depression. Depression is a real thing. Depression is a thing that most people in the colored community don't want to talk about. It's just a feeling that eventually goes away, that most people would say. What was that key factor that helped you open up, or why did you want to open up in that chapter about your fight with depression, and how did you recover from depression?
Family helped me out because they didn't allow me to be depressed too long. So that's a good thing. I had a family. And then it's off of that self-development I talked about earlier. I've been self-developed to just keep on moving, that ant factor, no matter what, keep on moving so long. I'm not built to be depressed too long. I'm not built for it. So after a while, I'm like, you just got to keep on trying. It's just built in me. You got to figure it out. So I think that was very important, to just keep on moving forward. And that's all I knew. I'm like, all right, wherever I get hired or not, I just got to keep on applying. Just got to keep on applying. And my family they had my back towards it. My dad had my back. Brother and sister, they definitely had.
I'm going to end that right there because I don't want to give them too much beforehand. I don't want to give them the conclusion of the book because otherwise it's a great read. I'm going to highly encourage everyone to go out here and read it. It's key points, it's key learning lessons throughout this whole book that everybody can apply in their daily life. But that factor right there about depression is a serious thing. And it happened to you at a young age. 23 is still young. To hurry up and hit depression and recover from it, it was an awesome thing. So do you have any closing words for somebody else that may be on this journey right now, becoming a flight attendant, that may be at their darkest moment, that depression moment, where they may be released from training or been declined a few times? What encouraging words do you have for them right now to leave them with?
But I don't want to be cliche and say to never give up. You can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to, because everybody say those. In a lot of cases, you can't. But with becoming a flight attendant, you have to learn how to get better every single time. I had a young lady on my flight 2 days ago, and she said she'd been denied 5 times. I was like, for you to not get denied another 5 times, each time you go, you have to get better. What did you learn? Did your resume get better? Did you learn you have to learn what you did wrong in that interview. So by interview number 10, you basically perfecting it. So I would tell you, no matter what, no matter how bad you did, because you're going to learn in a book from my first interview to my last interview, it's night and day. I wasn't prepared at all, but I was on a journey to get better every single time. And that's what I tell people. Make sure you get better. Against all odds, all under Lando Success platforms on Facebook, IG. You can get it, Lando Success.
On Amazon?
It's pre-sales right now. Is available on Amazon for $6.99. The hard copies, including shipping, for $20. So on December 3rd, it is released, and it will be available everywhere. You can get it from your local bookstores. You can just give them the name of the book. They can have it there. Or you can get it on Amazon, or you can contact me directly and get it.
Are you still customizing? Are you still personally signing the first 100?
I'm still personally signing the first 100.
So I highly encourage everyone to go get the book, go support this man in his first journey. Of course, out of many journeys to write many more books. It's a lot of things you can learn throughout the course of this book. Definitely dig into chapter 11. There's some other chapters that's fire, but I won't give it to you just yet. But if all else, just get the book. Read the book. It's pretty good. I want to say congratulations to you, brother.
Appreciate it,
did
man.
Hey, the time's still
Definitely
running. It might have took you 8 years. But you did it before you left this earth.
For real.
So
appreciate it.
congratulations.